Hello again, everyone. Well, we've got a bit of protection here on the boat, so hopefully the gimbal will handle it. We won't lose it. But another little quick update. Obviously, ISTVAN's very happy to be here, and in a strange way, it's kind of good to see him come in under a bit of breeze, because it's a little bit more realistic, I suppose, than some of the others having to motor in. At least he's sailing all the way. He's sailed all the way up through Doncaster Channel, in between Bruny Island and the main island of Tasmania. It would have been quite nice for him to see the sights, see the green, the trees and all that, after having spent the day at anchor, so all a bit frustrating. Oh, he's starting to luff up now, coming in, so doesn't want to shake the reefs out now, but he's been laid over a few times just in the last few minutes here. And we've probably got about a mile to go, say maybe a mile before we get to Kingston Beach. And as we get closer in, and we'll get into more of a wind shadow, and then he'll start his motor probably and push it through. But the boat's looking really good. And you can see there he's got his trysail. The orange trysail is lashed down over the top of the cabin top in its own track, ready to go up the mast. ISTVAN's got steps up his mast, very solid section. Twin spreader rig, quite strong. Just the one forestay plus the staysail stay. But everything's going well so far. He keeps his spinnaker pole on the mast. He's got one on the mast and one on deck, obviously. And the wind pilot must have settled down now. He hasn't been speaking about his wind pilot for a long time, so it must be doing the business. Got all the little adjustments sorted out and the wheel drum settled. His water generator is hooked up there, hidden behind the transom, which you can see. Strange place to mount it. I'm not sure what that brand is even, but it's still working, so that's okay. And he's looking very happy to be here. Big smile. You've got about a mile to go.
2 miles.
No, 2 miles. Oh, no, it's up to you. You're racing, not me. He wants to know whether to shake the reef out.
It's there.
Yeah, it's that lot of houses over there. That's where you're going. Yeah, those lot of houses. You see there's no wind in there, so is your motor okay to use? Yeah, okay, the last bit you'll have to use your motor. He's actually been lucky. So I remember Jean-Luc came up, he was motoring for quite some time, and Uku was pretty good, he did alright. Mark Slats was the one that sailed all the way in and out. That's pretty good. They'd like to hang on to their fuel if they can. It gives them more options when they're up in the Atlantic going through the doldrums again, or just for charging batteries and so on. So they certainly don't want to waste it. But under Golden Globe rules, of course, you can motor. And as long as no one's physically touching ISTVAN or giving them any spare parts or any assistance, stopping is okay as well. You can seek shelter, which is what he had to do. They sought a port of refuge to get out of the big winds a couple of days ago, and he would have no doubt enjoyed the serenity of being at anchor in a calm place, even though there was a bit of breeze. So he could have got lots of jobs done, I'm sure he did. Most of the entrants are finding it really hard to sleep when it's calm. They can't actually get the rest because they're used to the motion of the boat all the time, and of course they go to sleep when it's quiet and calm and they can't sleep. And Susie got away last night around midnight, so she'll have a maybe 3/4 of a day on break on ISTVAN now. ISTVAN was able to catch up because Susie stopped for nearly two and a bit days, which would have been supremely frustrating for her, but it's a bonus for ISTVAN because he's taken a bit of time now, and that was a very sensible decision to do. Everyone agrees to that. It's still a long way to go. You don't want to push the boat or you, and that was quite a storm that came through. Fortunately, it blew itself apart just after it got to Uku. If you've been watching the tracker, you would have seen Uku got some very heavy winds, big seas, but it actually started to die down while he was in the middle of it, rather than letting it go over him. So he would have been happy at that, and he sent us a message this morning saying all okay. Big smiles, he was on his way again. So Uku is now possibly even the other side of New Zealand now. He's certainly down the bottom end and heading up around the corner. So he managed to squeak between the mark, Snares Island down there, leaving it to starboard. He didn't have to. We gave him permission to carry on whatever he wanted to do because he was far south avoiding the storm. But right now ISTVAN's just kicked into the motor, sounds really good. Looks like he's pumping his bilge. No, he's not doing that. Anyway, he's on his way. Yeah, a mile and a bit to go, so we'll probably shut this down again in a minute, and we'll start up again once we get him settled on the inside, and we'll go through the question and answer session and say good day and find out what he's been up to in the last few months. I'm sure he's got in fact quite a few stories to tell, and we'll be looking forward to hearing all that. But the boat looks good. It's quite clean. The bottom's clean. He's got some barnacles, just on the tuck of the transom there, or just the stern. He's got a counter stern coming up. There's quite a few barnacles there, but the anti-fouling looks good. And yep, he'll be happy to be here. So that's just another quick one, and the next one will be when we're settled on the other side. So just rolling up his head sail there. Still interesting, I've had one of these boats, and still I don't know, maybe it's my impression, he still seems a little bit heavy in the bow, but that's probably just me. Certainly a good looking boat. Tradewind's one of the comfortable boats in the race. There's two others that never quite made it. Shane lost his on the way sailing to the start. He lost the boat off Cape Horn, dismasted, and it was eventually abandoned. And then Kevin had his boat, which he pulled out in the Canary Islands, and another guy's now bought that, and he's about to sail it across the Atlantic, and he's seriously thinking about 2022, so we might see that boat back in the race. And this was the third one, and ISTVAN's doing a grand job of getting it around so far. This is ISTVAN's third circumnavigation. He sailed around previously single-handed with no GPS in 1990. I bumped into him off Cape Horn, of all places, when I was doing my circumnavigation. Then he went around fully crewed as a captain of a ship, captain of a yacht, going around the world, did all that, and now this is his third time, and he's commented numerous times how the weather is so much more challenging this time. We always knew the Indian Ocean was going to be a nightmare, and it truly has been, so hopefully they'll get a better run once they're on the other side of this. And he's going to be a very happy chappy to be here. I know ISTVAN's always said that he would always be happy once he got to Australia, because he knows that's the challenging part of the weather, and it's also halfway. You're sailing home from here, and the boat's usually settled, and you know what the problems are, and hopefully address them. I don't think he ever expected to have so many electronics problems, because he got that big lump of water down below that just wiped out so many systems, and that's been a bit of a disaster. But at the end of the day, the yacht side, the sailing side, the mast, the rigging, the sails, the steering, and all that sort of stuff is fine. So he's got to be happy about that, and he's a quintessential sailor. He knows what to do. He's a sailing instructor. He trains people. He's been there before. So let's hope we see a successful conclusion to this, and a very big smiling ISTVAN coming through the entrance into Les Sables d'Olonne in a few months. That's the next question, when? But no one knows, it's too far away. One step at a time. Engine sounds good, purring away there. So okay, I think we'll shut this down now, and when we come back again, probably in about 20 minutes or so, we'll be talking to ISTVAN and get his opinion of the last few months. So we'll see you later.